Hello, everyone. So, today I thought I'll just talk about how to not use Jira or customizations in Jira, and uh, and most importantly, why Jira will not work for you. Now, I have been doing Atlassian consultation for the last 15 years, and it has been a long time. In the last 15 years, I have worked with companies where they have used Jira or they have used Jira in a bad way. They have failed, they have succeeded, and I can tell you from my experience straight away, especially those cases where Jira will not work for you, where Jira will actually cause more problems. Now, when people start using Jira, when people start considering using Jira, it could be just because they know about it, or maybe they are using it already, or maybe they have learned that Jira can do these wonderful customizations. Now, of course, I always say that Jira supports and you can do a lot of customizations. That is really a good power. But just because Jira has this capability to create a complex workflow, just because Jira can let you do those configurations to basically create a process which is like a very restricted process. Imagine that you create a bug in Jira. Now, when you create a bug, you're asking the user to fill in few fields, and then you change the status of the bug, then you change the status again, and then maybe you follow this life cycle of a workflow that you define in your Jira project for that particular type of issue. Now, thing is that you should not look at Jira uh, as a tool that should dictate how your teams should work. It should actually be the other way around, or in fact, you should not even look at Jira for telling you and your team how you should work. Jira, of course, is a tool to assist you, to help you, to basically make your life easy. For me, if I can tell you from my experience, if you're not able to use Jira in the most simple form, or in the most basic way. For example, if you have, let us say, of course, in Jira, of course, we have a lot of features. I'm not really talking about not using those features. I'm talking about, let us say you have, if we talk about software development, because software development is a very common thing, or to be honest, in any kind of issue tracking. I'm using the example of software development because that is where people complicate or overcomplicate things. Let us say you have a simple project with, or I should say, a simple workflow with 3 or 4 statuses. To be honest, from my perspective, that is all you need. Let us say you have open, in progress, or maybe on hold, or maybe, of course, done, whatever. If you cannot really work within your team to use only 3 or 4 statuses, then I think there is some problem with your team. Of course, you can define your. I'm not really saying your team. I'm saying there is a problem in your team to work together, to agree on some resolution, or to basically understand the gap, or to basically identify the bottlenecks. Jira can help you to basically do these things easily, but Jira will not really do the work for you. For example, if you are waiting for a bug to be resolved, and the bug is not resolved, right? Because it can happen that bug is probably there waiting. Maybe you have assigned it to someone, or maybe someone is just not sure when to deliver it. So if you have a bug raised, which is important, which you need to resolve, otherwise you can't really proceed further, then you need to work as a team together to resolve it. You need to basically have a process where you review these things every day. And that is why I always say that a daily 15-minute, 20-minute, half an hour, or a 5-minute catch-up is very important, because of course, if you're talking about Scrum or Agile, we all know about this concept of daily stand-ups, where you have this opportunity to resolve these issues, to proceed further, to basically unblock those blocking items. And Jira will not really help you, because if, let us say, Jira will of course tell you that, okay, these are the bugs that needs to be resolved. You can do whatever you want to do in the tool. Maybe you want to send a daily email with a list of issues that needs to be resolved, or maybe you want to create a report to show those dependencies. But end of the day, it is us human beings who have to take action, who have to basically work together. as a team, if you're working in a team, to basically get the most out of this particular tool. And I'm saying this because I work with a lot of people, lot of organizations, a lot of clients where they keep on blaming the tool, and that is really frustrating for me, because I know, and I'm eligible to say that because I'm not just a consultant who do or who has been doing uh, Jira consultancy only. I'm also a developer. I also know how software development works. So I think I know how and where exactly teams can resolve those issues to proceed further, because they keep on blaming the tool. They keep on blaming the lack of, or maybe too much of, those customizations in the tool. If you're not able to use Jira in its true form with just basic statuses, then there is, to be honest, something wrong with your way of working as a team. You should probably, get yourself a good, experienced project manager. People always look at, so there is a difference between a project manager and someone who is just passing the information. For example, project manager job is to take decisions, right? For example, if you have 4 stories to deliver, so those 4 stories should be owned by someone in your team. It could be a scrum master or a project manager or a lead, but uh, it is that person's responsibility to make sure those stories are delivered. That is it. So you should basically encourage this ownership, this culture of ownership, where if you should basically identify, okay, stories are owned by managers. These, of course, they might be assigned to the developers, but developers are working on their own individual stories. But as a whole, if you talk about the backlog, or if you're talking about a project that needs to be delivered, let us say one epic, that epic needs to have one owner. Now, to deliver that particular epic, you may have some bugs that you need to resolve. So those bugs are, of course, owned by someone, right? Usually, someone will raise those bugs after the testing. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that if you think Jira is not working for you, then I think you have to probably uh, understand that Jira is just a tool. And I think I made a few videos in the past where I mentioned about uh, about not blaming Jira, because Jira is, of course, not, end of the day, is not really going to do the delivery for you. Jira is a tool for you to go and take a look at the things that are assigned to you, items that are in the backlog. It is, of course, an online tool. People can collaborate. People from multiple locations can work on the tool. You can build wonderful reports. But if, let us say, your report is telling you that the progress of your work is 10%, so it is not really a Jira problem, right? It is not even a problem of someone not updating Jira, because I don't really think that is the main problem. Of course, you should encourage this to, update Jira as much as you can. And by the way, when people say that, yeah, they don't have time to update Jira, they don't have maybe capacity to work on those issues that they need to update, there are ways of doing it. There are smart ways of doing it, and that is why I always encourage these managers, project managers, scrum masters, leads to learn Jira properly, because I think it should be their responsibility. For example, if I'm the owner of my epic in Jira, then it is my responsibility to make sure that all the stories under it are delivered, or they are updated. And if you have this culture of ownership, then people will update their issues in Jira. So you have to basically show this by doing it yourself. If you're a manager, don't assume that your developers will do the updates for you. And of course, if you're a developer, there are a lot of ways to update your issues automatically. I mean, using smart commits, using workflow triggers, and you can always learn more features in the tool. But I think developers should not focus too much on the Jira side. They should focus on their work that they're doing. And talking about understanding how Jira works, I don't really think Jira is a difficult tool to use, and that is also not a problem. People think that if they get a training on Jira, I mean, by the way, I'm saying these things because I'm a consultant, and although I'm a consultant, but I don't really want to misguide or tell my clients something else so that I get more business. My responsibility is to make sure that I tell them that when they need me or when they really need me. I mean, in most cases, when people reach out to me, I ask them straight away, I mean, you don't really need me. What exactly is the concern? And people approach me with this intention or with this idea that I can fix their Jira. But in majority of cases, yes, I'm saying this, and I'm being honest about it. In majority of cases, Jira is not the problem. It is basically their teams, and that is why if you're hiring, let us say, an Atlassian consultant or maybe someone like a Jira administrator, Jira administration skills are actually totally different from, I mean, not totally different, but they are, so there is a difference, right? When you talk about Jira administration, Jira administrators are not really going to help you deliver. They're not really going to make sure that your velocity or your capacity changes. Or I mean, I'm talking about the metrics or KPIs. Jira administrators are there for fixing things in Jira to make Jira work for you. Consultants, on the other hand, can of course work with you. They are usually people with knowledge of these processes and how teams work, and they are experienced people. They are probably they have been managers or developers in the past, and that is why if you are working with a consultant or a Jira administrator, then first of all you should know. I mean, if you're a company, you should know whether you need an admin or you need an admin with consultation skills who can work with your teams to understand these problems. So that is all I wanted to talk about today in this video. I know, a bit strange video, but I of course want to make this video from time to time, or similar videos from time to time, just to give you some ideas that Jira is not always a problem. It is basically your way of working or something wrong with your team. I think, to be honest, I mean, if I look at my previous clients, I know some companies where I basically help them with, of course, Atlassian tools. I know some companies, they are using Jira wonderfully well, and I mean, if Jira is a great tool because it is simple to use, it is very easy to do those configurations, and if you keep it simple and if you ensure that you are using it properly from day one, let us say you have a manager, you assign their you give them this responsibility that okay, these are your items in Jira. You have to of course make sure these are always up to date, so that your higher management can track things properly. And the instances where I have seen people using it properly are usually very clean instances, usually instances with very few workflow statuses and very limited set of customizations, because this is like one myth. People think that if they do a lot of customizations, a lot of automations, then it will make their problems go away. But that is of course not the case. All right, that is all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.